Hi world, it's Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy, with a reading for the week of December 6th, 2015. General reading, and I pull from 4 different decks that I have, so I have a grid of four cards. I want to mention before I get started, I've kind of discovered this as I've gone on, is that not everybody is going to embody these energies that are here, these messages for the week. What you might find is that you encounter other people who are dealing with these things. So kind of keep alert for that. You know, it might not be about you. It might be about somebody else that you know or that you encounter throughout the week. Okay, so let me run down the 4 cards real quickly from the classic Rider-Waite Tarot deck. The first card in the upper left, we have the 3 of Swords. And the next card is from the Faeries Oracle, is Unity. And then the next card that we have is from the Enchanted Map Oracle deck, is Balancing Act Reversed. And then the last card was pulled from the Vintage Wisdom Oracle and is Awakening. As I gaze over these, it's kind of interesting to me that they're all kind of the beginnings of things. 3 for the 3 of Swords, 1 for Unity is the number. Now they say in the Fairies deck that the numbering is random, but it is kind of an essential card in this case. It is an ultimate card. So I'm going to take that number 1 more seriously than I would a card from the middle of the deck. And then from Balancing, from the Enchanted Map, Balancing Act again, I don't think that the numbers were intended to have meanings, but in this case you have 11, which is double 1, or in the numerology, the way they do things is you add those until you reduce it down to 1 digit, which would be 2. So we have 1, 2, and 3. Or we have 3 1s. You know, it's just kind of 3 1s, which of course with the Roman numeral in the 3 of Swords is you know, comes together there. So it's kind of interesting that way. Think of beginnings and triplets. Beginnings and triplets. 1s, 2s, and 3s. And Awakening, I doubt that that's the first of, I'll check and see. These cards are not, in fact, in the Vintage Wisdom, she doesn't number them, so she avoids that. But it is an A, so it is at the beginning of that deck, and I just checked, and it's like the 4th. She writes of her cards in alphabetical order. So here we are toward the end of the year, and yet this is about essentials. The Unity card is essential, base, the ground, spiritual ground in that Unity card. And beginnings. Some difficult beginnings. And then Awakening. Okay, let's go with the 3 of Swords. The 3 of Swords is a situation of disappointment, possibly heartbreak. We see a stormy sky with a, you know, classical heart shape and 3 swords stabbing through it. And just the card makes you want to go, ouch, ooh. And the swords are a suit of thoughts, perceptions. I often think of it as responsibilities, that those swords are responsibilities. You know, if you think of swords as used for defense, or the sword of truth, that indicates a responsibility. So the Three of Swords can be looked at a variety of ways. But usually it is seen as two things, kind of like the two lobes of the heart. And so you have the two swords in there. But the real problem is not those two swords. The real problem is the sword in the middle. So there is an idea or a responsibility that could be coming between two people. It could also be somebody who has maybe not an overwhelming amount of things that are weighing down their heart, or making them feel disappointed, but more than one thing. 2 or 3 things. It's starting to feel overwhelming to the person. So they're not in good spirits. So be alert for people who seem a little down. Offer them some comfort. If it's appropriate, maybe talk to them a little bit about what's going on. It could be that they are not perceiving the situation correctly. If you actually feel like you're in this situation, again, you need to question whether you have all of the information that you need. You know, did you misunderstand someone? Is there some perception that is creating this disappointment that is in fact not the sword of truth? These swords are pointed downward. They are not pointed up. Usually when the sword is pointed up, that is victory, or the sword of truth cutting through. These ones are pointed downward, so there could be misunderstandings. Or responsibility. So there's a heavy element there to the week. The others are not so heavy. The others are not so heavy. A little bit complicated week, but not bad. Maybe a thinking week, actually, with that start and with the other other 3 cards, but particularly the Unity and the Awakening card. Could be about thinking. And spiritual awareness. Awareness of how we're doing on our interior. Definitely not an exterior week. It is an interior week. I'm watching for the interior, people's interiors. Okay, so the next card is from the Faeries Oracle deck, and it is Unity. And again, it is considered the ultimate, the essential card number 1. There is a feel about this of the male and the female in this unity. And I would say that it could be the healing influence to this 3 of Swords is really something that I feel. In fact, it almost mimics it visually with the antlers at the top of the Unity card, representing the male aspect, and the tops of the swords being a little on the pokey side. Again, you have the pokey at the bottom, but not quite so much. And the same thing is true of the Unity card. It swells at the bottom. It's not really pokey, but it swells. So what you have with the Unity card is representations of the male and female. And then a shaft in the middle, as though you could take this, and if you were to hold this light, it's like a radiance, it's a light, a card of light. And if you were to hold it, that above you would have the male principle, the male, assertive, aggressive, I would say, aspect or reach in the world. You know, the antlers are reaching, they're feeling out in the world. And then below your hand, as you're grasping that shaft, you would have the female principle, which is more centered, more central, and softer in this particular image. Again, you don't have the spininess of the antlers. And again, the female is more concentrated. So consider that in terms of balancing yourself, unity within yourself. Don't alienate either aspect of yourself this week. Be willing to respond with either energy as you encounter situations this week. I'll also address the little tuft that looks like thistle at the top in terms of unity. I refer to myself as Thistle Gypsy. And part of that is because I love purple and thistle, and part of it is because I have a background of Scottish heritage. And this, it has white, as though the thistle is going to seed, as though it's going, this little tuft in between the antlers, as though it's about to spread its seed. And thistle in Scottish heritage has the notion of unity because it has the roots down below. It's hard to pull up thistle and not get more thistle. So there's an unseen, that below part, there's that unseen connection that keeps it alive. Even though you think it's been pulled up, there's more of it. And there's the issue of seeding, at how proficient it is at seeding and coming up other places. So there's that connection established, the spreading. And there's also a story of the ancient Scots being invaded, and at night, and the invader stepping on the spiny foliage of a thistle, letting out a yelp and alerting everybody that it was happening. And so the connection is also communication. So those are all forms of unity to consider for the week. Again, healing, potential healing energy for that Three of Swords, communication, reaching out, providing a warm center, a circle for that person to come into. So lots of potential healing energy there in that unity card. And again, with those antlers, that reaching out, this is a time of communication with friends and family, so it doesn't have to be sober. It can also be a happy, energetic reaching out to friends and family and embracing them. The antlers ultimately have a motion of embrace. So feel the unity this week. Feel the unity, spread the unity. All right, the next card is Balancing Act Reverse. Now, I didn't check, but I think that we had this card last week or recently in the upright position. And it has a ship coming in on a thread and a bubble and hearts. So this is reversed now. And so one of two things. Either this influence is delayed. In other words, there will be no progress with the ship coming in right now. You're having difficulty maybe maintaining balance to allow this to happen. Well, and now I've forgotten what the second one was. Definitely a possible delay, or it could be that it will finish coming in, that it has been a process and it's about to complete. That it's a process and it's about to complete. But I get the feeling that there's a delay. So again, try to remain balanced. Don't, this card is really, even though it's called Balancing Act, it's really about not overreacting. So maintaining a balanced frame of mind. Don't let anybody get the best of you. Don't jerk when somebody screams. Don't jerk when somebody pokes you. Just remain steady. In fact, that would probably be a better name for this card. Steady. Steady as she goes. Okay, remain steady. Don't overreact. Be patient. Let things take their take their time. And it may be difficult. You may be thinking, get on with it. What is your problem? No, just hold steady. Hold steady. Essentially, if you don't hold steady, the little bubble pops and the ship definitely will not come in. So just hold steady. If it's going to, it's going to. If it's not, it's not. And if you encounter other people who are going through some sort of balancing act or some sort of waiting period or situation that they can consider frustrating, just reassure them. Just tell them, there's not to, if you do anything, it could be a problem. So just don't do anything. Just wait it out. Be steady. Let things take their course. And that again could be the solution to that Three of Swords. Maybe somebody needs to cool off before it's addressed. Maybe the perceptions will change with a little time. Definitely don't let somebody pick fights with you. That's not going to be productive. Okay, and then we have the Awakening card. And with the Awakening card kind of underneath that radiance, it could be that this person, again, this is thoughts too. This is thoughts, just like that Three of Swords. It could be that you see a solution to something. The woman in this card is gazing up toward that Unity card. So it could be that you have a revelation about how to resolve a situation. Just like with the Balancing Act where I just said, it could be that you need to wait for somebody to change the way they're thinking. Well, maybe this awakening is actually exactly that. That somebody will begin to see things differently. I'm not sure that I have too much else to say about that. Let me look at, let me back up here for a minute and just look at all of the cards. I'm not sure there's too much else to say. I will say that that Three of Swords in the Unity card just very much, although in many ways opposite, in harmony with each other, speaking to each other, kind of like problem and solution up there and dominating the weak. These other cards feel much less important, much less prominent. Again, with the awakening, you might have an aha moment, but I don't think it's going to be a huge one. It may just be a helpful perception. It's kind of funny the way the flowers in this awakening card are kind of right at her ears. It's like they're talking to her. So it might be awakening about romance. Maybe a better understanding of someone. So maybe it's, even though there's light here and there's the idea of it being a mental awakening or an idea, revelation, maybe it's awakening of the heart. Awakening of the heart, or a new perception. Not the standard logical way of looking at things. There are hearts also in the balancing act, all around that ship that's coming in. So with that Three of Swords and this balancing act, the ship not quite coming in, there could be matters of the heart that people are dealing with this this week, and divisions. Again, this is a time when families are at least trying to get together. And so think about how people are getting along. If you have a big family and you know that family is going to be getting together, if there are any people that traditionally do not get along, you might consider talking to them. Have compassion for them. Open your heart to them. Appeal to them with that notion of unity as a family. And see if you can do a little healing there. Okay, I'm going to let that be it. Those are our messages, our energies for the week of December 6th, 2015. Thank you for stopping by and listening. I'm always happy to get comments, so leave any comments. Even after the fact, if something occurs to you that happened during the week that aligns with these messages and these cards, I would love to hear it. All right, I'll let you go. Think unity, healing for the coming week. Thanks so much. Enjoy. Bye-bye.